All right, good morning, everyone. This is a special Tuesday briefing from the National Weather Service in Wakefield, Virginia. Well, starting out here this morning, we have some cloud cover moving through from some thunderstorms. This basically decaying cloud cover from some overnight thunderstorms that's moving here this through here this morning should gradually thin and clear out this afternoon. As you can see, areas to our northwest here generally kind of starting to clear out at this time. And then farther to the northwest, you can actually, there's almost a bit of a swirl in the cloud cover, pretty potent upper level system. And we should see a good bit of thunderstorm activity develop here in this area, this clearing area, and push down through our region later this afternoon. And some of those storms could be strong to severe. First thing this morning here, we have light southerly flow, temperatures up around warming to around 80 degrees. The clouds have kind of slowed some of our warming to some extent, but should see temperatures rise up into at least into the upper 80s as we get some of that cloud cover to clear. And we are kind of on the humid side, but not anything too out of hand for late July. Looking here at depiction of what the radar could potentially look like this afternoon from a model perspective, you can see the morning convection over Southwest Virginia gradually dying out with some new convection, new storms developing to our west by early afternoon. And then we got some storms into northern Virginia, and then pushing towards central Virginia and the eastern shore by late this afternoon after 4 to 5 o'clock, and progressing southeast into southeast Virginia and northeast North Carolina later this evening. One thing to still consider here, anytime we have northwest flow through the remainder of the summer here, we'll probably deal with a little bit of wildfire smoke from the Canadian fires up north and northwest of the Great Lakes. Air quality generally yellow today, so not near as bad as we had a few weeks ago, but still something to keep in mind as we go through the remainder of the summer. Anytime we have northwest flow, probably deal with a little degraded air quality. Going through here, some of the highlights here, as we looking here at some of the highlights here, we do have a slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5 later this afternoon and evening. We're going to be mainly dry with near to slightly below average temperatures to close out the week beginning tomorrow. And then generally fairly seasonal over the weekend, and maybe still on the dry side to start the weekend, and then trending maybe some storm chances returning by later in the weekend. Do have some minimal small craft advisories for the Chesapeake Bay, Lower James, and northern coastal waters later today into tonight, but the storm threat is probably the bigger issue for the marine area late this afternoon and evening. Definitely have potential for stronger wind gusts in any storms, as opposed to the general wind flow ahead of this approaching cold front. We got our cold front here today, our best storm chances. That cold front pushes southeast tomorrow, and generally high pressure at the surface building in to close out the week with those slightly below to near seasonal temperatures, and then still that general trend continuing into next weekend, with storm chances probably not returning to later in the weekend. There's our slight risk for today, covering all of our local area. Looking here at some more details, relatively quick storm motions from northwest to southeast through the late afternoon, evening hours. Generally, it looked like the biggest threat time period is 4 to 11 p.m. The main threats: damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, and a few tornadoes are possible. If we have some more individual thunderstorm cells initially, we could see some large hail, but the hail threat will probably decay with time, and could see some localized flooding. The flood threat's not real high, but there are some areas here, especially the lower eastern shore and into the Hampton Roads area, maybe here into Northeast North Carolina as well, especially near the coast, that are a little more sensitive, and we could see some storms coalesce there later today. So maybe a little locally higher flood threat right toward the coast. There's our reddish pink area, kind of the 30% damaging wind covering a lot of our local area. There's your hail risk in the middle, and then the tornado risk highest, the 5% area, central, southeast Virginia into northeast North Carolina. That's kind of our main biggest tornado threat area. But again, you can see the 2% covers the entire area. There's another quick look at the simulated radar reflectivity. There's our excessive rainfall threat, marginal for most of the area, but again, could see a little bit of locally enhanced threat here, just kind of right here down along the coast. Rainfall generally half inch to an inch west to an inch and a half locally up to 2 east, but again, could see some locally higher amounts within any thunderstorms, especially if we get some thunderstorms to coalesce for a bit in one particular location. There you can see our temperatures going forward, fairly seasonal, upper 80s to near 90, lows upper 60s around 70, and really generally dry until we get very late in the weekend or maybe even into early next week. So fairly pleasant to close out July and begin August. Could see some elevated water levels at high tide, mainly here today, tonight, and then that kind of gradually declines as we move in the coming days. As we're kind of right at full moon now, we'll see astronomical tides start to diminish as we move away from the full moon. Low rip current risk for our area beaches, and then with no active weather expected the next during the day tomorrow. We have our special live briefing now, and then we should be back for our regular morning briefing on Thursday. So with that, I thank everybody for their time and have a good day.